Hello, everyone. We'll be starting very shortly. Just waiting for a few more people to join, and we'll go ahead and get everything going. Good morning or good evening, wherever you are in the world. Today, we're going to be diving in to some of the fundamentals of cryptocurrency, as well as understanding some of its history. We will also take a look into comparing the differences between a virtual and conventional currency and how they operate. And it's really great to see people joining interested in the world of crypto. And I hope to help with some of the understanding of its topics. So we will begin here with what is a cryptocurrency. So the word cryptocurrency is derived from the encryption techniques which are used to secure the network. So blockchain technologies, which are organizational methods for ensuring the integrity of transactional data, is an essential component of many cryptocurrencies. Blockchain is a decentralized technology spread across many computers that manages and records its transactions. And part of the appeal of this technology is truly its security and transparency. Cryptocurrency is a digital currency and a medium of exchange like normal currencies, such as USD, but these are designed for the purpose of exchanging digital information through the process made possible by certain principles of cryptography to secure the transactions and to control the creation of additional units of the currency. This decentralized structure really allows for them to exist outside of the normal control of governments and central authorities and intermediaries like banks and such. And essentially, the cryptocurrencies are limited entries in a database that no one can change unless specific conditions are met and fulfilled. So understanding some of the different types of cryptocurrency is extremely vital to understanding their applications. And one of the main principles of it is cryptocurrencies can act like real money in a sense. They are real money, but they take the virtual and digital form and are not managed or governed by any central authority. So a true product of the digital age needs no middlemen, no banks or government authorities to be involved. So the following cryptocurrencies represent the most widely popular industry projects so far, and the ones that really slingshotted cryptocurrency into being a mainstream topic. So we have Bitcoin, which is arguably one of the most common and big known currencies. It's considered an original cryptocurrency as it was created quite a long time ago. It was created in 2009 as an open source software, and the author of the white paper that established this digital currency was under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto, which there's a whole myriad of stories and information on that, but most importantly, he was the person who truly developed and created the technology behind it. And then there's Ethereum, which was created in 2015, which was a lot later. And Ethereum is a type of cryptocurrency that is an open source platform based on the blockchain technology. So while tracking ownership of digital currency transactions, Ethereum blockchain also focuses on running the programming code of any decentralized application, allowing it to be used by application developers to pay for transaction fees and services on the Ethereum network. And then there's Litecoin, which was launched in 2011 and was essentially, it was an alternative to Bitcoin. And like other cryptocurrencies, Litecoin is an open source global payment network that is completely decentralized, meaning there's no central authorities. There's also one Ripple, which was released in 2012 and acts as both a cryptocurrency and a digital payment network for financial transactions. It's a global settlement network that is designed to create a fast, secure, and low-cost way of transferring money. And Stellar, which was founded by Jed McCaleb. He created the open source network Stellar and created the network's native currency in 2014. Stellar mainly focuses on money transfers, and its network is designed to make them faster, more efficient, and especially used across national borders. It was designed by Ripple co-founder John McCaleb in 2014, as I said, and is operated by a nonprofit organization called Stellar.org, which some of you may be familiar with. So understanding the cryptocurrencies and understanding their applications is really vital to understanding how they operate. And so cryptocurrencies leverage blockchain technology to gain decentralization, transparency, and immutability, which are terms we've discussed before. Decentralization meaning that there's no intermediary. Transparency that shows that for the public transactions, at least, it shows when they occurred and the amount and stuff like that. And the immutability, which just means that they're unable to be changed or altered. And so cryptocurrencies are systems that allow for the secure payments online, which are denominated in terms of virtual tokens, which are represented by ledger entries internal to that system. So crypto refers to the various encryption algorithms and cryptographic techniques that safeguard those entries, such as an elliptical curve encryption, public and private key pairs, and hashing functions. Cryptocurrencies typically use decentralized control as opposed to centralized digital currency and central banking systems. So when a cryptocurrency is minted or created prior to issuance and issued by a single issuer, it is generally considered centralized. So when implemented with decentralized control, each cryptocurrency works through distributed ledger technology and typically a blockchain that serves as a public financial transaction database. The most important feature of a cryptocurrency is that it is not controlled by any central authority. That is the nature of crypto, and that is the appeal for it especially, is the decentralized nature of the blockchain makes cryptocurrencies theoretically immune to the old ways of government control and interference. Many companies have issued their own currencies, often again called tokens, and they can be traded specifically for the goods or services that company provides. So think of them as you would arcade tokens or casino chips, where you'll need to exchange real currency for the cryptocurrency to access the good or service. We'll continue from here. So the history, in 1998, Wei Dai published a description of B Money, which was an anonymous distributed electronic cash system. And understanding the history is truly important, again, to understanding the development cycle of crypto. So Nick Szabo created BitGold, which is like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies, which we'll talk about here shortly. And the first cryptocurrency to really capture the public imagination was Bitcoin, which was launched in 2009. As we talked about before, it is the most popular and well-known mainstream crypto by an individual or group known under the pseudonym Satoshi Nakamoto. So, referring to the Wei Dai, he published the description of B-Money, characterized as an anonymous distributed electronic cash system. And that was in 1998, so that was way before Bitcoin or any of the other white papers came out for the more well-known cryptos. And in 1983, which is way back even before blockchain technology and stuff like that was really implemented, the American cryptographer David Chaum, he conceived an anonymous cryptographic electronic money called eCash. And later in 1995, he implemented it through what was known as DigiCash, which was an early form of cryptographic electronic payments, which often required the user software in order to withdraw the notes from a bank and designated the encrypted keys before it could even be sent to a recipient. So this allowed the digital currency to be untraceable by the issuing bank, government, or the third party. Let's see. And in 1996, which was just a year later, the National Security Agency published a paper entitled "How to Make a Mint: The Cryptography of Anonymous Electronic Cash," describing a cryptocurrency system and first publishing it into MIT mailing list, and later in 1997, the American Law Review. So this is when it really started gaining traction, and a lot of people started looking into it. And the first decentralized cryptocurrency, which is known obviously as Bitcoin, was created in 2009 and used SHA-256, which was a cryptographic hash function, and its proof of work scheme. So in April of 2011, Namecoin was created in an attempt of forming decentralized DNS, which would make internet censorship very difficult. And soon after, in October of 2011, Litecoin was released, and it was it was the first successful cryptocurrency to use script as its hash function instead of, as we described, Bitcoin's SHA-256. And another notable cryptocurrency around that time was Purecoin, which was the first to use proof of work and the proof of stake hybrid. And on August 6th, 2014, the UK announced its treasury had commissioned a study of cryptocurrencies and what role, if any, they can play in the UK economy. And the study was also to report whether the regulation should be considered, which is pretty controversial, and it being decentralized, if someone should be an intermediary. So blockchain and cryptocurrency, and this is kind of going to be a view on how they correlate. So blockchain and cryptocurrency, the transaction is known almost immediately by the whole network, but only after a specific amount of time it gets confirmed. So as soon as that transaction is to take place, it is recognized, if we're looking at it publicly, by the whole network, but it won't get confirmed until a later time. And confirmation is a critical concept in cryptocurrencies, because I mean, you could say that cryptocurrencies are all about confirmation. So it can be immediately known, but until it gets confirmed, it won't go through. And as long as a transaction is unconfirmed, it is pending and can be forged. So when a transaction is confirmed, it is set in stone and is no longer forgeable, and it cannot be reversed. So it is part of an immutable record of historical transactions of the so-called blockchain. So only miners can confirm the transactions. So this is their job in a cryptocurrency network. They take transactions, they stamp them as legitimate, and spread them throughout the network. After a transaction is confirmed by a miner, every node has to add it to its database and become part of the blockchain. So for this job, the miners get rewarded with the byproduct of the information, which would be a token of the cryptocurrency. So for an example, Bitcoin. So only those miners are able to confirm those transactions. So some of the differences, which we'll discuss, of the conventional currency and digital currency, and how they do kind of go their own separate ways when it comes to applications and implementation there. So fiat money, such as the US dollar, the British pound, and the euro, is a kind of fiat currency, which is issued by the government and regulated by central authority, such as a central bank. And cryptocurrencies adoption continues to gain momentum, in part because of the world's progression towards a cashless society. So cryptocurrencies being virtual, and fiat money being something tangible. So this is kind of a look at how the benefits and pros and cons and the applications of fiat versus, or conventional versus, crypto and virtual currency. So fiat currency, it is a essentially, you can say, a real currency, it being tangible, whereas cryptocurrencies are virtual, so they are stored in a wallet, which is an online service, however you want to go about that. With conventional currency, there's intermediaries, so there's banks, there's third parties that take fees for using their services and transferring that money, and the cryptocurrencies don't have those because they're being peer-to-peer by nature. It is from essentially me to you, and so just one user to the other with no person in the middle. The portability, so conventional currency is obviously portable. You can put it in your pocket, you can store it at a bank, whereas cryptocurrency, you can have millions and millions of dollars and you won't feel anything because it's all stored virtually. So the durability of conventional currency, being paper money or coins or something like that, obviously it has only a certain amount of durability to it, whereas cryptocurrency, being highly durable, is, since it's virtual, there's no means of destroying it. Of course, unless it's stored onto a hard drive or something like that, and that gets destroyed. The acceptance, so conventional currency is accepted nationally. You use your US dollar in the United States, it'll get you $1 worth of currency there. Whereas you go to different places, it'll be worth more or less. And cryptocurrencies, through the internet, it's global. So you can send money from somebody in the United States to somebody in Asia, and they will be able to use that as they wish. So conventional money being secure, which not able to be counterfeited. Conventional currency has certainly got a lot more secure and more regulations for it, and it's a lot harder to fraud and fake than we could say maybe 100 years ago. Whereas cryptocurrency, it's very hard to counterfeit. It is nearly impossible. Conventional currency being scarce, so there's a predictable, that just means there's a predictable supply, which you're never sure really how much there is of that specific, as money is printed every day in different parts of whatever country you're in. Whereas cryptocurrency, a lot of them have a set amount that can be mined or transferred, and with coins being lost every day, whether it be through lost wallet or lost keys, you can see the value going up just from that. So conventional currency being sovereign, which is just government issued, it's all, of course, issued by the native government, where that can be, if something like such as inflation occurs, that can change the value of the money, whereas cryptocurrencies are not government issued and nobody has a direct control over it. So it's not able to be regulated as government issued money is. Decentralization, so no central bank for conventional currencies, whereas cryptocurrencies are controlled by complex mathematics and are under those transactions and stuff like that. And conventional currency being programmable, it is not, and it is paper money or coins. It's not able to be programmed or altered in that way, whereas cryptocurrency is. So here's a good difference between virtual and fiat money. So in a currency created by decentralized distributed computing, being like cryptocurrency, it's able to be transferred directly between two users. Whereas the money in a fiat money is issued by a government and then distributed. The transactions only require two parties and no intermediary is required for cryptocurrency, whereas there's always going to be a middleman, such as a bank or payment provider, needed to complete a transaction with just traditional cash. Crypto is governed by a majority rule, which is also known as a network consensus. So it's an agreement between everybody to understand how it's governed, whereas you got one person making decisions, it being a central bank for the fiat currencies, and the government has a control over that. Depending on your network speed, transactions can be done in minutes for many hundreds of thousands of dollars with crypto. But even local or international transactions with fiat money can take days. And you especially see that with pulling out with an ATM. You can maybe only pull out so much before it tells you that you can't pull out your own money anymore. And that's that third-party intermediary with that. So there's no chargeback is possible. So after a transaction has been made, and that's with cryptocurrency. So there's no able to charge that back after it's been completed. But with a traditional currency, it's possible to have that come right back through. So the exchange aspect, cryptocurrencies exist in digital form, and they are created by computers and operate as private pieces of code. The means of exchange is thus purely digital. So in contrast, fiat money can exist in both digital and physical form. So that could be you depositing money in an ATM and using, let's say, a debit card, or you deposit it into a prepaid type of card that you can buy from a store. So from that, the cryptocurrency is being solely digital. Tangibility. So this could be seen as benefit, pro or con. It's not possible to have a physical fear of cryptocurrencies as they operate online virtually as coins. But fiat currencies, on the other hand, have a physical aspect as they can exist as coins and nodes, thus possible to have a physical feel. Again, this has its benefits and its shortcomings. Some people like having money in their back pocket and they're able to pretty much spend it at the drop of a hat. Some places don't accept cryptocurrency as a form of payment. But also you can't deposit cash into your computer if you wanted to buy something online. So the legality of it, governments issue fiat currencies, which are in return regulated by the central bank. And fiat money is deemed legal tender, in which it is often the official means of finalizing transactions. So when that money is issued, that can be applied to whatever fees, notes, or loans that you have. But governments control fiat money and the supply of it and issue policies from time to time that affect their value. So sometimes they can increase the fee for something that they didn't have before, or vice versa. For storage, so cryptocurrencies virtually aspect means that they can only exist online, thereby stored in digital wallets, commonly referred to as a cryptocurrency wallet. And there's a myriad of them out there. So while most of the digital wallets claim to offer secure storage, Some of them have been hacked, resulting in people losing a substantial amount of money and holdings. And the versatility of fiat money, on the other hand, means it can be stored in various forms. So it being stored at a bank or being stored onto a card um, has its its benefits and stuff. But with cryptocurrencies being stored online, it's more secure in a way that it's not able, a bank can't be wrong. So, but also it's important to see that fiat currency being a legal tender backed by a central government. So it can take the form of physical dollars, for example, Federal Reserve notes, or it can be represented electronically, such as with bank credit. The government controls the supply, and you can pay your taxes with it. Cryptocurrency is not legal tender, though, as it is not backed by a central government or bank. It is decentralized and global. So its form is more like bank credit, sans the bank. So in that it is represented digitally, but not backed by a bank or government. So an algorithm controls the supply, and you can't really pay your taxes with it. Instead, you have to pay taxes on it. In its form, it's more like bank credit, but otherwise, there's no intrinsic difference. Both fiat and cryptocurrencies can be called money or currency. Both are mediums of exchange that are used to store and transfer value, and both can be used to purchase goods and services. So both have their value governed by supply, demand, work, scarcity, and other economic factors, and both have their value affected by the quality of the system surrounding it. But both can be traded on exchanges as well, etc. So why use cryptocurrency? You've heard, the differences here between the fiat and the crypto, but what are some of the main appeals and attractions to the virtual currency? It's fast, safe, and cheap. So it's very quick to, once it's authorized, to transfer money between people and large amounts as well. It's cheap. So it being, decentralized, there's no bank taking its fees. So you can send a very, very high amount of money, even internationally, where it's especially shines for just a small fee. And it's very safe. So it being peer-to-peer, it's very secure, and there's no major chance for an intermediary or let's say somebody to come in between that transfer. So transparent and neutral. Transparent, it's on the public ledger. It is completely documented and shows when that transaction occurred. And it's neutral. So again, even if you don't like the other person you're sending money to, there's no way of them affecting that. It is completely neutral to any issues regarding that. So fewer risks for merchants. So people selling items online, however that may be, there's not as much of a risk of accepting different bank cards or issues with international funds and stuff like that. It's better for the merchants in the long run. It being untraceable, again, you can't trace the cryptocurrency, it being all virtual. Whereas fiat currencies, they can be, if you put that money, they have serial numbers on it. They're able to physically look at the dollars if there's something like that, fingerprints. The ease of use and highly portability is a big driving factor for it. It's easy to send money back and forth. It can happen in less than a minute. And it's very portable. If you have a wallet on your phone or something like that, you're able to take that wherever you go. No need for a physical wallet. So low inflation and collapse risk. With cryptocurrencies having a set amount of volume of coins, some of them, there's a low risk for inflation, and unless there's a large dump of coins onto the market, the collapse risk is very, very low. So decentralized nature, this is probably the most important, it being no intermediary, no person in the middle taking their cut, and no chance for that to be intercepted or delayed, whereas sending money with someone in the middle can result in delays or postponement of the payment. The freedom to transact, you're able to send the crypto to whoever you want. You're not able, some may not accept, some business may not accept certain types of cards like debit cards and stuff like that. Very rare, but it still does happen. Now you've seen even here in the United States, some people are saying, they don't accept anything other than exact change because of a coin shortage, just as an example. But the freedom to transact however you want, especially online, it's really great. So active involvement of users, that consensus is a big strength in the net of cryptocurrency and blockchain. You have people constantly involved and approving and authorizing, and it's all to be done in tandem with each other. So the international use fees, the no chargebacks, the growing market, this is all in reference to the ability for the crypto. So as we looked before, it really shows the full benefits and the full usage of cryptocurrencies and the appeal of it. So the international use, so cryptocurrencies are borderless means of exchange, allowing for instant and cost-effective transactions across the world. So there's no waiting, there's no international fees, and no limitations as to who can send or cannot send funds to whom and when, and where those funds can be and can't be accessed. So those are, all that is needed is an internet-enabled device like a cell phone or a laptop or something. And someone without access to a banking institution is given an alternative solution, which they can pay bills, earn income, safely keep their funds, make purchases, and conduct business. So that international use is truly a big benefit. And the fees, so in most cases, a cryptocurrency account in the form of digital wallet is entirely free, unless you, of course, choose to invest in cryptocurrency hardware wallets or prepaid cards. But other than the transaction fee, using cryptocurrency as money costs absolutely nothing. So there's no intermediary, there's no bank taking their cut, there's no deposit holding or anything like that. So no chargebacks. So once a transaction has occurred, there's no turning back. Funds travel from one wallet to another. The transaction is recorded on the block and it cannot be reversed. So as soon as that happens, there's no turning back, which it can be a benefit for people if there's some sort of scam where you're able to charge a card and then instantly refund it but still receive the product. So there's no ability for that. And it's a growing market, so it is evident that the cryptocurrency industry has really grown leaps and bounds in the past 10 years, especially since Bitcoin was born. And blockchain is transforming the financial industry more and more. People are getting on board. There's more people every day creating wallets and investing their money into crypto, storing their funds there, and using it as a means of processing transactions and conducting business. So it's something that can be applied to really your life in a myriad of ways. So as a conclusion, the cryptocurrencies are a hot topic in the global financial system. You see it on headline news often, sometimes with different coins and different crypto services being available. And it is a impressive technical achievement, but it remains a monetary experiment. So it is still in its infancy and won't see a lot of adaptation till it can be years down the road. But it's growing at a very, very rapid pace, and it is being adopted very quickly. So cryptocurrencies provide an interesting new perspective from which to view economic questions surrounding currency governance and the characteristics of money, the political economy of financial intermediaries, and the nature of currency competition. So with, even banks not being able to not charge that fee for things, for services and stuff like that, crypto, it's a very competitive thing. And it's providing a new look at answering questions that have been answering questions to problems that have been there for decades. And it being resolved with blockchain and cryptocurrency, it's really something to consider when it comes to your financial means. So I wanted to thank you guys for joining and watching as we went over some of the fundamentals of applications of, cryptocurrency and transaction data and stuff like that. Understanding the different kinds of crypto and the history and exactly what cryptocurrency is huge to understanding and creating your own opinion on the technology, and informing yourself is very important before considering anything with finance. But hopefully we'll be looking into more of these topics here soon, and next week we'll have at the same time another topic and webinar for you guys to attend. So thank you guys, and we'll see you next week.